All right, welcome back to another episode of Shifting Schools. I'm so excited today to be joined by Kenny Rodrequez here from Kansas City. We're going to talk about that here in just a little bit. But Kenny, welcome to the podcast. Why don't you go ahead and give a quick introduction to our listeners today as we talk about AI and specifically Libra used from a leadership perspective.
Sure. Yeah. I'm superintendent in Grandview, Missouri. So this is just south of the Kansas City Metro. It's my 8th year as superintendent, my 10th year in this school district. So a lot of different conversations and components of leadership over a pre-COVID and a post-COVID kind of manner, and being able to see things and how education has certainly changed. But then specifically when we look at our shortages of just instructional staff and staff overall, how do we change what we're doing to make what we're doing in our district so powerful and meaningful that people don't want to leave. But then we're also attracting new people saying, whatever they're doing there is where I want to be, because we have to differentiate ourselves some way so that people want to be here and they want to stay here. So what is that? We are a one high school town. So for a larger district, we are a feeder pattern. We are about just under 4,000 kids. So 5 elementaries, 2 middle schools, and a high school, pre-K, and an alternative center. So when you look at that, we are a small school district in the midst of a big metro. And we have the opportunity to have best of both worlds. Hey, we are small enough to get to know you, so you feel a part of something and that you can really be something that's personal and family oriented kind of thing.
I love that.
But you can also live in a large metropolitan area and don't have to whatever the downsize to that may be for you living in a one high school town and in the middle of nowhere. No, you have access to everything that you would want there as well. So we try to really play off of those. Libra for us has met that need. How do we build relationships differently with our staff? As a superintendent, even with over 600 staff members, how do I do that quickly and easily? Yeah, I know a lot of the staff members and I'm able to do a lot of different things. There's no way that I would be able to keep track of everything. I just can't. Libra and using AI really helps me be able to do that. From the very simplistic side of, I can send email to everybody's birthday just to say, hey, by the way, I know it's your birthday. Congratulations. Thanks for being here and everything that you do. I can do that for everybody in my network every single day, and it literally takes me 30 seconds to be able to do that. I never would have been able to do that before. But then also to be able to build connections with our leadership teams, to be able to hear and see our leadership teams build other relationships and say, hey, congratulations to so-and-so. One of our staff members was picked to be on a task force that's a national task force around ESL. And so I never would have even known that necessarily, but now I can go talk to her and find out about that. And she knows that I learned something about her. To the personal, somebody that's their kid scored they had a hat trick and they scored 3 soccer goals in one game. And that's the first time ever when her kid's like 8 years old. And that was a huge deal for that family. So things like that I can track and I can monitor now. And then it'll come up and it'll remind me of these are the connections that I have. So that's a simplistic way of looking at it. At the same time, I'm using AI to really help build those relationships, which is one of our major components in our district.
I love that. I love that. For somebody who might be new to Libra, and again, the website is librahq.com. And thank you to Libra for being a sponsor here of the Shifting Schools podcast. But if you were talking, and when you talk to other superintendents and you talk about the power that a platform like Libra has for you as a leader, how do you explain what this platform does? That's one of the hardest things I have, is saying, you just almost have to see it in action to understand the power this thing has. How do you explain it when you're talking to other superintendents about it?
Yeah, I love technology and I do not know everything that I need to know, but I love playing with it. And I love getting in there and just getting my hands dirty and really trying things out and exploring unique ways to do that. But I know not everybody's like that. And some people are really hesitant and skeptical and just scared to do that. So I look at it 2 different ways. Here's the simplistic way of, you can build relationships with your staff and you be able to track certain things that maybe you weren't able to do around a safe environment, that you can really look at all your employees and everything that they're doing, org charts and how that plays out. But then you also have the other piece of it. It's being powered by the latest Chat GPT. So then you can actually use that in a safer environment rather than because it's behind all of your stuff and behind
Right.
theirs. And so you can actually have a little bit more safer of an environment to be able to try certain things. As a leader, I can put prompts in for my leaders. So I know that I have some that they use it almost every single week. And I have some that have only used it the 3 different times that I've brought it to them to try to tell them, hey, today we're going to do this. So I can put out prompts for them and I can say, here are example prompts that I think you could use in your, and so then they'd be like, I never knew that we could do that. That is something that I can connect with them, that we can do as a network. So I feel like it's a safer environment for them to really practice some of the tools that are out there anyways, and in getting them, because we can bury our heads in the sand like we do in education sometimes or not, but this is happening. Like
Yeah.
the speed at which it's happening is so much quicker than even I anticipated. It's going to happen. So you might as well get used to it and figuring out ways that your staff can use it to benefit them, because there's so many of those ways. They don't have enough time. They're overworked. They're happening. Hey, here's a way to make things better for you. And I've tried to do that just with our leaders overall. And then hopefully they're doing the same thing with our staff members as we give them example prompts.
I love that. And with Libra now, have you rolled out Libra just with your leadership team? And when I say that, like down to the principal or assistant principal level, is that kind of who has access to it right now?
Yeah, our principals and up. So we did
Okay.
that for our entire leadership with our principals and up with our directors and our assistant superintendents. And so they have access to all those particular components. The other thing that we added to it is they do have an option that you can add on sending personal postcards that basically
Yeah,
kind of
I love
handwritten
that
notes.
option. Have you used it?
Absolutely,
Oh my
absolutely. And
gosh.
so, we purchased. So again, there's something different about that. So yeah,
Yeah.
they even say, don't use this for, hey, congratulations that you made it to another day or whatever, but use it for those special occasions of just, hey, I was in your class the other day. I just want to let you know you were doing such a fantastic job. Thanks for everything that you do. The email's great. There's something different about getting something in the mail that someone took the time. And again, the addresses are in there.
Yeah.
Everything is in there. AI Assist automatically helps me with a prompt if I want to,
Yeah.
and then I can edit it, and then I can click on it. I can see what it's going to look like and send it. And all that process literally can take less than 5 minutes. And if I had to stop and do that, I got to write it all out and I've got to do it and think about it a little bit longer than that. So once you get used to what that can be,
Mm,
it takes no time at all. But again, it's that personal connections of
yeah.
really trying to recruit and retain what makes us different. Hey, I know you, and I
Yeah.
just want to let you know I see you, and I really appreciate everything that you're doing. It means something to everybody.
Yeah. So talk a little bit about how much time is this taking you? Like you've been using it for a couple months now, correct? Yeah.
Correct.
So talk a little bit about how have you fit it into almost your daily routine or your weekly routine, whatever that looks like. What kind of time is that taking? And what are some of the things that you were already seeing just a couple months in that you were already seeing and hearing from your community out the other end of leveraging something like Libra?
Yeah, just when you're thinking about, let's just take the most simplistic thing of just birthdays and work anniversaries.
Yeah.
That email comes to me first thing in the morning. A lot of times, truthfully, I wake up really early and I go work out. So it takes me about 10 minutes to just wake myself up and I'll sit on the couch and make sure there's no catastrophes or anything
Yeah.
else going on in the world. But that's one of the emails. And I can just click on it, open in
Yeah.
Libra, and I know exactly what it does. I've got my template already done. I send those emails and all that's already done before I've even left my house in the morning.
Wow.
I can do it from my phone. So I can do it from anywhere. It really makes it so much easier to be able to do. And then let's say that I missed a day or two. I can go back and I can go
Mm,
back a couple days. You know what? I don't need to do anything for the next 2 days and I'm going to unplug. I can go back a couple days or I can go a couple days in the future and I can say, hey, I'm going to be out these 2 days. I'm going to go in and send this. To the second part of your question, as soon as I started doing it,
mm,
some of these individuals, again, I have sent personalized cards to all of the leadership teams in the district since I've been superintendent. And that happened for the previous superintendent as well.
yeah.
But to send something to, let's say, a paraprofessional that may have only been working for us for a year and a half,
Yeah.
and I say, hey, by the way, little birdie told me that it's your birthday. Happy birthday, and thanks for all you do for Grandview. When are they really going to get an email that's going to be personalized just for them on that
Yeah.
particular day? I'd love to be able to do that. I just don't have the time to really be able to focus on those pieces. But to be able to do that, I've gotten so many responses back saying, I cannot believe that you knew that. Thanks so much for doing that. Bus drivers, being able to send a little note to them, be able to say, hey, thanks for what you do for Grandview. I know it's a difficult job at times. And them to say, I cannot believe that you knew it was my birthday. And that's so amazing. Thanks so much for taking the time out of your day to do that.
Wow.
Again, they know that this is a crazy job at times. There's so many things going on, but
Yeah.
just those little bit immediately. That first day, I got 2 responses. And
Wow.
almost every single week, I've gotten responses from staff members saying, I cannot believe that you knew that. Thank you
That you
so
took
much
the
for
time.
taking the time.
Yeah, that is so huge. And for people who are listening, Libra is Libra can sit on top of, and it sounds like you've done this. You can connect it into your HR database, and that's
Yep.
really what it's supposed to do. Is it sits on top of your HR database, and it's then able to pull in all of that information and give you this assisted way of communicating and knowing when are all the birthdays coming up and who has work anniversaries. And then love the point where you brought up when you use it as a leadership team, this ability to share notes on what's going on. So, for example, you talked about a teacher who just was sitting on a national board, and you might not know that as superintendent. Like the principal knows that, and there's recognition happening at that school. But a little bit of time that it takes for that principal to put it into Libra to say, "Hey, we have a teacher doing this," it instantly comes up in your feed, and you take 30 seconds out of your day to be able to congratulate that person. I really love that you are focused on, and I love that you've talked about this, paraeducators, bus drivers, there are so custodians, cooks, there are so many pieces of what makes a community and of a school work that you have those quick touch points with your entire school community. Because like you said, you get your email in the morning and it says, here's all the birthdays today. Here's all the work anniversaries today. These people have been with you for 23 years. You might want to reach out and you might want to drive over to that school. Like all of a sudden you've got data and you get to decide how you want to leverage that to build the community. And I think it's such an incredible platform that takes less than 10 minutes sitting on your couch while you're waking up in the morning with a cup of coffee. Yeah.
And the exciting piece for us too is there's a lot of other components that you can add on. And so one of the things that we've partnered with and that we talked about with them initially is loading all of our board policies. So let's say that unfortunately we do work in sometimes places that violate policies for whatever reason. So
Right.
using AI as a tool, we can create prompts and we can say, okay, we have someone who has violated this board policy, create a memo or create a whatever you need right here and do a template. And they obviously AI is going to immediately do that. And so that gives
Yeah.
us that place to start because even principals don't always know, okay, it's going to take me forever to write this. And so,
Yeah.
yes, there's specifics. And just like you always say, it gives you that place to start. That's
Yeah.
not what you're going to send.
That's
That's
right.
not you're going to edit it, but it's that beginning point that you're not starting from scratch. Okay, that's not right. I need to add this. That doesn't sound like me. I'm going to soften this. I'm going to do that. But you have that opportunity to go through that a few times where that's part of the thing is I don't even know what to say. I don't know how to prompt this, but our
So
policies
good.
already being in there, it's going to know that. And so AI is already going to be helping us go through and develop it the way that it should. So for us to be able to use it in a couple different ways and slowly be able to get our leaders where they need to be, and then they can start helping their staff do the same thing.
I love that. And just the amount of time of what was that policy number or what is the policy around this
Right.
or just being able to go to chat or go to Libra, it means ChatGPT in the background, but to be able to say, what's the policy around students wearing clothes or what's the policy around like name your policy and it pulls it up so much faster
Yep.
than A, trying to memorize them all and B, having to go find your policy book and try to remember what part of the policy that is. Yeah, I think
Well,
that is
and
just such
for
a
us, it's
dynamite.
exciting.
Yeah.
Listening
Dynamite
to you a
tool.
couple different times, just all of this has happened this year. And I feel like we're trying to still play catch up a little bit, even though it's not that old, right? It's only been
Yeah.
around for a short period of time, but it is lapping us multiple times if we don't do something. So this is our way to do something and to start engaging our leaders in that process.
I love that. Have you seen any of this now as your leaders start to engage with AI in this way, like a very meaningful way? Like this is taking, we all know AI through like the lens of ChatGPT or Gemini or whatever you want to use. But to be able to have it leveraged in such a way that is specific to your district, that is secure, so you're not worried about things going back to a OpenAI server or something like that. Like the security of this, the very specific, like it's your board policies, it's your employees, the way that it is being leveraged to support your district. I think is the power of things like Libra when we start thinking about AI. And as you were saying, you have some of your leaders who are really off and running with it, as we always see. And you've got some of your leaders that have used it the 3 times that you've said, hey, we're going to use it and leverage it this way.
Yeah.
As your leaders are becoming more comfortable, are you seeing that trickle effect at all, even into your teacher staff or the way that we're handling this with students down the line as all?
I think we're just starting to see some
Okay,
of that. I
that's
think
great.
what's exciting for me is when I now log in, even after our training, I am now seeing those individuals make those connections. And so being able to say, so and so made the connection with so and so, and this is what happened. This is what's going on good here. And so it's going to be a way for us to leverage the positivity that's happening in our district that we weren't maybe even aware of. And so
Right.
all of us being aware of those kind of things and being able to see that. And so to your point, that's my continued hope is now those leaders be able to share examples of, hey, I've been using this for a while and now I started using Libra. Of course, I immediately jumped right in. This is
Yeah.
what happened with the teachers and this is already what happened with our students. And so then someone else will say, how did you do that? To be in a safer environment. I think that's the biggest thing for some of the leaders when they went through the initial training, they were still concerned of,
Yeah.
I'm worried it's going to learn everything about me and it's going to say this and it's not going to be good. And yeah, maybe not quite to the Terminator 2 kind of a scene, but they're thinking this is what AI is and this is what's going to be okay. But this is now what we're leveraging for you is a safer environment for you to practice and for you to get this understanding behind our wall. It's connected to our email system, all that kind of stuff. And so I do think that I'm already seeing some of those examples, and then we'll have the people that are all the way down the road to be able to share those examples with those that may not be as comfortable, and then they'll start practicing that. So I'm already seeing a little bit of that and some ease and some comfort. So that's what I'm, how quickly it's already starting to be, oh no, I can do that.
Yeah.
I know I can do that. And so that's, if we can show them that, they're already going to be able to move that forward.
Yeah, and I agree with you. And I think that's where we're at. I think innovative school districts like you're leading are going to find ways to make this work specifically for your district. And using a program like Libra that is specifically created for things like this are going to help us see past the, I don't know if I can trust GP or ChatGPT because it hallucinates. This doesn't hallucinate because it's not going out to ChatGPT. It's just using your policies. Like it's just
Right.
reading your policies, or it's just pulling data from your human resources, or it's just the data that we're giving it that it's learning on. And I think that's the future of all of these AIs is when we can truly customize them to support us in doing the work that we have to do anyway, only doing it faster and in many cases better than we were doing it because you didn't have time to send out every paraeducator an email on their birthday. We create community. And that's really what this is about. And it's one of the things that I continue to talk about when I'm doing this work with districts is our goal is to leverage this so we spend less time behind a computer. If I can say, if as a superintendent, you're coming to me and saying, look, I'm using this for 10 minutes a day, but the exponential community improvement that I'm seeing on and what we are doing in the community that we are able to create in less than 10 minutes a day is game over. That's leveraging AI in a way that is truly powerful and meaningful to us as humans. And I think these are the type of programs that we want to see schools leveraging and using and thinking about moving forward.
Yeah, we just wouldn't be able to do it. There would not be a way that we would be able to do it to this extent without that. And I think that's, like you said, that's the whole point is how do you do that? How do you make sure that you're using it to work for your advantage with the things that you were already doing, only now you're doing them in far less time. So some of these things we never would have been able to do it to this level at all.
Yeah, I love that. Kenny, thank you for taking your time out of your busy schedule. Being a superintendent, I'm sure, giving up your 25 minutes here. I am so honored that you were able to do that and carve some time for us to talk about Libra today and just the power of AI from a leadership perspective. I look forward to being back there in the Kansas City metro area in June. So hopefully we'll catch up then and get to chat some more about this. But really appreciate you spending some time with us today. If there are other superintendents or those in a leadership position that might want to reach out and learn more about you and your school district and how you're leveraging it, where's the best place for them to do that? Do you want them to contact you through LinkedIn or your email address or?
Email address is fine. Okay. They can certainly do that through LinkedIn, but email address is perfect. I'll see all those.
Awesome. And we'll make sure that it's in the show notes as well in a way that it hopefully won't give you all the spam and people can still figure out it's your email address. So that's our hope. But thank you, Kenny, for taking time today. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Appreciate it very much. Thanks.